Gentlemen, welcome back to my other mess, which is my workbench. And on my workbench, we have my new FPV wing. Now, I haven't done any video recording on this wing just yet, but I'd like you to meet her right now. Now, in short, what is this wing based upon? This is actually a ZackCombat flying wing. Let me show you what one should look like. Which is, it should look like that. And it's actually meant as a slope soaring wing. But what I noticed is that you could buy a 15 centimeter block to go in the middle, and then that got me thinking, oh, what happens if I put a bigger battery in the front and put some FPV gear on there? That would make a really, really good flying wing, and that's where I'm up to right now. So let's take a closer look. So let's take a look all the way across. Now those black lines are for the carbon fibre. So let's start at the back first. We've got a Team Legit motor mount, which is now embedded into the back of the blunt nose piece, the centre section. We have two 4mm by 1mm carbon rod or carbon strip running literally from the center to the side out to the opposite side, and there's two pieces on that side. And if I turn her over, you'll see that there's also another piece which runs the full width of the model. Now you may be wondering, Matt, that's a little bit of overkill, and yeah, I'd agree with you. That is, let me get this camera put back down. Actually, let me just adjust that for you. Is that, yeah, I'd agree with you. That's a bit of a overkill and maybe a little bit too much over-engineered, in inverted commas. But I was really worried about that motor mount moving around over time, because we are going to be putting a whacking great big motor on the back of her. So I was a bit concerned about that. So I've gone overkill on the carbon fibre. We also have some carbon fibre rods running out to the tips either side. So from about here all the way up to the end. We also have, let me move the camera around, we also have a carbon fibre rod running from here all the way out to the left hand side of the wing, and we have the same on the opposite wing. Also underneath we have exactly the same, a pair of carbon fibre rods up underneath as well. So let me get that camera put back down again. Let me just make sure you can see that okay. Yeah, you can see that good enough. Now, the reason why I'm using quite a lot of carbon fibre is because it's dead cheap and it's dead light and it's dead strong as well. And I just dropped that bit. It's pretty much indestructible and it's super cheap. The 2mm by 50 centimetres long off Banggood, £2.80-ish for a packet of 5 of them, super cheap. The carbon fibre strip was about £6 or £7 per strip. It may have been cheaper than that. It's from a website called easycomposites.co.uk. I'll pop a linky up in the description for you. But the reason why I'm building this wing, and I've not gone for one of the posher models, should I say, is straight down to cost. You can buy this kit, this slope soaring wing, which is the ZackCombat, for less than €30. Now, I did buy the blunt bit in the middle, which was a couple of quid more. But if you look at the bigger ones, they're so expensive for what they are. But this combination, it's super... In fact, that's as much bend as I can put in her. Super rigid. Lovely big wingspan. In fact, I've got my tape measure here to give you an idea on the wingspan. So that's out on the left wing. We'll go out to that one. It should be 1 metre and 33 centimetres, so 1.3 metres, or in old money, 52.5 inches wide. She is about 13 inches deep, which is about 33 centimetres. And what I'm going to do, up on your screen right now, you'll be able to see the plan which I have for the components which are going to go on here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run through the components with you so you can see my plan of attack for this wing. I'm personally hoping for about a 40-minute flight. If I get any more than that out of her, and by the way, if you've ever seen me fly my Tech Sumos, for example, you'll know full well that I normally rag the nuts off every single model, but this one's meant for a long flight. It's definitely meant for long flight times. So let's get some components out. And by the way, if you have any tips or suggestions for the components layouts, or the layout of the components, please let me know in the comments section. I would really appreciate your feedback. So let's just grab these out of the box. They are in no particular order. The first thing which we're going with is the Turnigy Plush 100 amp ESC. Now you must be thinking, 100 amps? Matt, that's overkill. You'd be right. And the reason why I'm going for the 100 amp, because this was actually earmarked for a different model, is the reason I've gone for the 100 amp is because it's lighter than the 60 amp ESCs which I've got here in my stock. So I've gone for that one. And again, gives me plenty of headroom in the ESC, and maybe I may add bigger motor at a later date. I've got the flexibility to do that. What else have we got on here? So actually, I'm going to put the FPV equipment to one side. So as that comes out the box, we'll do that. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do that in one go. So up on the nose, I've cut out the slot for the RunCam 2. Absolutely fantastic camera. We've also got the RunCam Swift, which will be sat down here in the nose. And let me just check that you can see me placing these bits on there, which, yeah, you definitely can. Happy days. For the video transmitter, I am going for the Immersion RC 5.8 600 milliwatt video transmitter, and that's going to be mounted right there in that lovely little pocket there just for it. For the receiver, I'm going to be mounting that as far out on this wing as I can, and this is the L9R, so it's the FrSky L9R, which is the long range transmitter. The downside to this one is that we do not get telemetry. That's why I'm going to be relying upon the video system to be able to provide us telemetry back. But what we lose on one side, we gain back with the extra distance which we can fly this model with that receiver. Now for the powerhouse, I will be going for the Turnigy 25C 5000 milliampere battery. It's a monster, don't get me wrong. There's two ways about this one. It's a biggie, and actually with it being a biggie helps weigh the nose down, because the C of G is 170 millimeters from the nose, and I actually need that weight at the front to help her balance out. So yeah, it's a big battery, but happy days. Now, one of the reasons why we need help balancing her out is because I've been and chosen the NTM Prop Drive 3536 1400 kV motor. I will be running her with a 10x5 propeller here on the back. And one of the challenges which I've got is that the ESC needs to come forwards a bit so it doesn't get stabbed by the motor. For the servos, only two servos, because remember this is just a flying wing, and we're going for my favourite, the brand new ones which arrived from Banggood just literally yesterday. I will be using two of the Tower Pro MG90S. Now these are already at their packets. They've been and run on the servo tester for 30 minutes. No strange noises and plenty of torque in them. So they will go at arms, or as far as I can get them, to about the C of G line. So they'll end up about here, and this one will be about here, and you'll find out why that is in a moment. Again, if I have issues with the C of G, then what I can do, I can move these servos out a bit further, which will also give me better control over there on the elevons. So to be honest, it would be better if the servo was there, but as you're about to find out in the moment, we do have our video transmitter there. We do have a noisy device with metal gears in it for one, and a little electric motor. So ideally I'd like it maybe about that far away from the video transmitter. Now, what else have we got in this box? We have the power lead, and this power lead is, so it basically needs to interrupt or go between the flight battery and the speed controller, and this provides 5 volts for our flight control board, and this is where it gets exciting. So that one's going to sit about there. Now for the flight control board is that I have gone for, you waiting for this? You may guess by that GPS unit, I am going to be using the Pixracer version 1. Now, this one does need to go out and get flown, so I won't be cutting this one out on the model just yet. But assuming that she does well, which, let's face it, it's basically based upon a Pixel, so it should do pretty well, as we saw in one of the earlier videos. That will be that way around, and I will purposely mount that right on the cross of the center line and the CFG line, so that all movements are fed back almost directly into the Pixracer. Now that obviously does need a little push button and a buzzer. That will probably be hanging out the left hand side. And I think that's it for my goodies. It is indeed. So that's the layout which I am planning for with this flying wing. So we've got the video transmitter out here on the left hand side. Again, it would be maybe better if it was all the way out there, but we've got cables then jumping across carbon rods. Not the best idea. Well, I don't think it's the best idea. Again, what do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Oh, we do have the GPS. That'll be right over, as far as I can put it, on the right hand wing. 2 servos, motor in the middle, ESC. The ESC may get slanted off to the right a touch, because what I've done, I've put all of these calculations into a CFG calculator. Again, a screenshot of that is on your screen right now, and a link including the CSV file which I'm using as a reference. So as you'll see, I'm probably already on version 7, maybe even 8 by the time you see this video, that's going to be my layout. We've got the receiver on the right, the Pixracer. Literally, if you can see that cross there in the middle, that's where she's going to go just for the CFG line. And then down on the front, we will have our Run Cam 2 and the Run Cam Swift. Now, before we go, when you're flying a model airplane, it may sound daft, but we're actually dealing here with fluid dynamics or liquid dynamics, because the air, although it's very thin, we are actually flying in a liquid. That's the easiest way of explaining it. So while this EPP looks alright, it's very rough to the touch. So I've got the choice of 3 different colours of finishing film. I was thinking of doing the bottom black, the top silver, and then I was going to put a splash of pink in there as well. And the reason why we're going to have the splash of pink is because I know my girls would absolutely love some form of pink on the airplane. And again, anything to get the kids involved with the model airplanes has to be a really, really good idea. Now, behind me, in fact, let me just go and grab the ZackCombat wing. So this is what I did with the ZackCombat wing. You may have seen it a couple of videos ago. You may have seen it for the adult orientated sticker, which I put on there, which for me, it really was the dogs. So I put that on there. And yeah, happy days. That's the layout which I've got. So any comments, feedback, suggestions, good, bad, or plain ugly, I would love to hear from you. And you can do that by posting a comment in the comments section underneath this video. So with that said, from myself, Matt, and my new FPV flying wing, I shall see you soon. Cheerios!